In Module 8, Lesson 2, we're going to be looking at different properties of logarithms. So these are things that you need to know, which means, more importantly, you need to have written down. So number one, when we have a log base b of x is equal to a log base b of y, so notice here that the two bases are the same. Doesn't matter what's inside the logarithms, but the bases have to be the same. Then we can actually assume that x equals y. So we can set x equal to y in that particular case. So for our first example, we have the log base 2 of 6x squared plus 1 equals the log base 2 of 5x. Since these bases are the same, why aren't you writing? There we go. Since these two bases are the same, that means that we can set these two logs equal to each other. Now, what's important is that we can only have one log on this side and one log on this side, and eventually we're going to see it when we have multiple logs. So in this case now we have 6x squared plus 1 equals 5x. Of course, anytime you have a quadratic, which is what this is, you have to move everything to one side. So we're going to subtract 5x from both sides. We're going to rewrite this as 6x squared minus 5x plus 1 equals 0. Oh, and then we get to go to our fun box method. So we're going to go right to the box. So we're going to put our 6x squared here. We're going to put our 1 right there. And then we're going to start figuring out the values there. So remember that what we do is we create a table. We multiply those two together. 6 times 1 is equal to 6. And then we figure out all the factors. But before we do that, this tells me that both signs have to be the same. This tells me that both signs have to be negative. So I'm going to put negative, negative. Remember, the lower number goes on the left. Upper number goes to the right. So we're looking for all the multiples of 6. We only have 2 multiples. Excuse me. So we have 1 and negative 6. And negative 2 and negative 3. These two add up to negative 5. So I have negative 2x, negative 3x. And then we look for commonalities. So we look at common numbers here. What's common between 6 and 3? Well, 3 goes into both of them. What's common to x squared and x? So that would be an x. What's common to 2 and 1? Notice I'm not worrying about the negative. What's common to 2 and 1? That would just be 1. No x's, and then because this is negative, which is the closest number to the 1 here, this becomes negative. Then we go up. What's common to 6 and 2? That would be a 2 and an x. What's common to the 3 and the 1? That would just be 1. And because this is negative, this would also be negative. So this factors down to 3x minus 1 times 2x minus 1. And that equals 0. So we are just rewriting that equation there. Then we set each one of them equal to 0. That's an old standard way of solving problems. 2x minus 1 equals 0. So we add 1 to both sides. We get 3x equals 1 and divide by 3, and x equals 1/3. And if we do this, we add 1 to both sides. We get 2x equals 1, divide both sides by 2, and x equals 1/2. So we have these two values here, x equals 1/3 and x equals 1/2. Now the goal should always be is we should check out the values to make sure that they're okay. There are some specific properties about logarithms. If you remember that when you look at the equation, so let's look at, I don't have it in this video. So when we look at an equation of a logarithm, the logarithm looks something like that. You'll notice that the x never goes negative, right? Because the x is negative over here. So that means if we have a negative x, or if we have a negative value, if this turns out to be 5 times negative 2, then we can't take the logarithm of it. It doesn't matter what the number is, but we can't take the logarithm of it. Same thing on this side, but notice this one will never go negative because of the squared. Okay, so those two values will work out. Okay, so now we're going to do a little bit of solving, and this is just kind of a review of the stuff that we've done before. So there's a nice way to solve these. Just go around in a circle. So that really is just a solve type of problem. So we have 9 to the 3/2 equals x. Now remember what this means. This means root. This means power. right? They really both mean kind of, in a sense, power, but the first one means root. So what's the square root of 9? So the square root of 9 is 3. So then we have 3 cubed equals x. 3 cubed is 3 times 3 times 3, which is 27. Okay, so 9 to the 3 halves is equal to 27. Okay. And now we have some more learns, and I'm going to go into this in another video because there's 3 things that you need to learn with these, but we'll do that in the next video.